Welcome to this edition of What Matters, and today I have two guests here from the Lock and Key Entertainment Company. Now, the theme of today is never give up. If you tuned in last week, and if you didn't, you can catch the replay, we had Nicole Salmon here, and she's a purpose coach. And that's kind of my theme for this month, is our purpose, our direction, our goals. And my guests that are here with me today, which are Ryan Greenwich.
Yes, correct.
And Christina Rojic.
Rojic, yes.
See, that's why I have to clarify. Rojic. They're both here to share their stories of triumph and how they've come from not the easiest childhoods to finding themselves and being able to help others with their entertainment company, Lock and Key. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction, and then I'll let them introduce themselves because they know themselves better than anyone else. I know you can tell the difference between Ryan and Christina, so I don't have to specify.
I hope so.
I don't have to specify. But Christina is the CEO of Lock and Key Entertainment. Now, just like myself, she's a native of Montreal.
Hey, shout out.
And we also have here with us Ryan Greenwich.
Hey, what's up? Good
And
night.
you are the executive director of the DJ department of Lock and Key Entertainment.
That's correct.
As well as the executive director of the upcoming radio station.
That's correct.
So from his voice, from the little bit he said, can you tell where he's from?
Originally from Barbados.
Originally from Barbados, and you moved to Toronto in...
No, actually, I grew up in Montreal.
You also grew up in Montreal,
from 1988, actually. I was living there, went to school there and everything.
The heydays, guys.
Yeah. After that, I went back to Barbados, stayed there for a while with my mom, went to school, graduated, got married. Had kids, and then after my kids got a little bit older, I decided to venture back to Canada. Yeah, but instead of going to Montreal, I decided to go to Toronto because of the French, obviously.
Yeah.
So
well, there was a little shift in Canada of the superpowers, and at one point, the big city, the place to be, was Montreal.
Correct. That's correct.
And then because of some political situations, it became Toronto. But I'm going to start out with Christina, more because I haven't spoken to you as much as I've spoken with Ryan.
Talk to me.
And before the show, we were speaking a bit, and when you're from Montreal, it just gets all nostalgic. It's like one big, happy family.
Absolutely.
We start talking about
You
what we
click
know,
right
where
away.
you're from. You click right away. It's a
Immediately.
different vibe.
Absolutely.
But here you are the CEO of Lock and Key Entertainment. So before you tell me where you came from, can you tell me where you are? Give a summary, because I know you do a lot. So if you can give a summary of what you do and currently and the range that you cover, because
do you have time?
yeah, that's why I'm like brief. I'm using all these adjectives.
Summarize this. Okay.
Now, I do my homework, I promise, I swear. But at first, I really thought Lock and Key was entertainment in terms of music. Because I know that you also have been involved with the carnivals and so forth, so I thought it was just music. But then Christina, she set me straight. She's like, no, we do athletes.
Everything. Yep.
Everything.
Dancers, to actors, to producers, to anything, even hairdressers. Like, it really depends, because as a client, anything that you do regarding art, anything in art, artistic, whatever, anything regarding that, you're going to need to find an outlet. You need to find somewhere where you have to go, and you have to go to 20 different places. Why? Why can't it just be one spot where one team can just be like, this is what you need. We're going to get it here for you.
Right.
Just focus on your craft.
A one-stop shop thing.
That's it.
Okay, so would it be like being a creative director, like helping?
It depends, again, right? So, like, you can be a company coming up to me with a product saying, I need to rebrand and I need to put it out there. Or you can be an artist coming up to me saying, I need to get a project done and I want to put out an album. So these are two complete different structures, complete different entities, complete different networks. So at that point, you got to know how to separate them and wear those hats, in other words, right? So that's how I do it. You have to know how to switch hats, and that's why now I'm able to expand, and that's why my first person I hired was Ryan immediately. As soon as I met him and he gave me his references and I saw how much he did just as a DJ, I was like, okay. I was like, let's do this. And because of that, we expanded even more quickly. In the span of what, like in a year?
Not even a year yet. It's actually 4 or 5 months now.
That's it. Not even.
Yeah.
That's how much I'm like,
Yeah,
I
5 months
did
now,
my
yeah.
timeline.
People think it's actually we were doing it that long.
Yeah.
But we actually only really linked up together beginning of August last year.
We were able to launch an event.
Yeah.
We were able to do a radio station now. We're able to get more DJs on our platform so they have somewhere that they can do their thing and, promote their own thing without any hassles, any problems. It's just give me your schedule.
So your underlying mission is to help artists of every genre,
Everything.
promote themselves
Yep.
and to be successful.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And so what is your art, Christina? What did you, because, okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's back up. So you tell me, because I can talk a lot, as you guys know. You tell me, how did this start? Where did this passion come from? How did you get into music? Was it music that you got into? Tell me how this started.
Well, I think music ties into everything for everybody. And like, even if you're an athlete, like I have a boxer he's in Team Canada. And even with him, he uses music when he works out, right? So music ties into absolutely everything. So music, of course, is where it started with me. I would have a little radio, put my cassette in, try to record the #1 hits off the radio because I couldn't afford anything. You know what I mean? I'm a kid. What do I know? But you learn to produce because of that and DJ and right there and then from there it actually went into dancing, and then I started taking classes from there, learning from people that I grew up with, especially in Ville Saint Laurent. There's a lot of different things happening, I guess you could say. So.
Anybody that's from Montreal understands the giggles.
Yep.
So
now
you're this massive support system to anyone that wants to refine their craft. What was your support system like going into, towards following your dreams? Or was it even your dream when you started following?
Honestly, it was motivation. It was determination. Growing up in a struggle, I guess you can call it a struggle. It was, it was tough at home. It was tough on the streets. It was tough to just express yourself. It was tough in school. It was tough everywhere you went. It was just tough. It was like miserable almost. But like just that determination to get out of there and say there's another way out of this without having to do things that you'll see most people do or whatnot. There's always ways out. There's always ways out, and there's no stress. If that's one thing that I learned recently, actually, it was a sponsor of ours that told us this, and he was, do not stress yourself. Like, forget it. Once a decision is done, just move forward. You know what I mean? But people, they tend to dwell on that. And it holds them back at the end of the day, and it couldn't happen with any one of my clients. It can happen with a friend. And it's just, it's tough. It's just tough out there. So it's just, I want to be that support system because there's nobody out there that does that, especially in this industry. In this entertainment industry, it's hard. It's hard to just say, I can't do this one day, and then you need somebody to pull yourself up.
Actually have a manager or someone there to actually be there for you and coach
Absolutely.
you. And
a team even.
A team, that's the way.
It's like
that's the way
another
that it is
family,
right
so
now,
even
exactly.
if you're having problems, like it's somewhere you can rely on, I guess,
What I notice with a lot of people who are dedicated to helping others, they often are trying to be the person they wish they had.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
interesting. That's an interesting.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Okay.
So
Very interesting.
From what you said to me, that's what I'm taking it from. You're now that person that you wish that 14, 16-year-old Christina had to go to.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because around that time is when it was the toughest. Because my father passed at that point, and that's when I was learning. I had to see my mom going through even more struggles. So just that alone, like, I get it. She's good.
So now, Ryan, okay, see, this is why, we got to keep on track. But I don't know if we have enough time, but I'll try. I'm going to go for this. What is the major, because as you said, we're from a time where you recorded things off the radio and you had your 2 decks and you try to cut out the announcer's voice, and you just said something that was a little bit mind-blowing. You were producing. You were DJing, and I realized
you're adding ad-libs.
You're
fixing the tape when it gets caught.
So you really, this is
go to a
production.
Maxwell tapes.
Exactly. And the pencil. That's how people know that you're the right age, when you know what the pencil and the tape is for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could pick one thing, and this is going to be so hard, that's different in the what is the difference from when you started and now? The biggest difference you find in the industry?
Respect.
Respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Respect of the craft, respect of
everything.
Respect of a human being, respect of somebody's feelings, respect completely.
I would agree with that. And I'm just getting so much better than this. Watch me go way over after. We'll be right back after this break, and we're going to speak to Ryan Greenwich and find out a little bit about where he came from and where he is now. We'll be back after this message.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Welcome back to this edition of What Matters, and I'm here today with Ryan Greenwich and Christina Rogic, and they're from Lock and Key Entertainment, 2 of the members of Lock and Key Entertainment, and they're here sharing their stories of, going through very difficult childhoods to getting to where they are now. And one of the things I pointed out is that I find that people who face the biggest struggles are often the biggest helps. So that is very, very interesting. So I've had a chance to speak to Ryan a bit more than I've spoken with Christina, which I'm really enjoying. We got to make sure we connect some more. I'll find a good puts in here for you. But Ryan, that's a lot of ums. He has a really tremendous story. And because we are on limited time, he's not going to be able to tell us all of it. But I was very struck by his determination, his positivity, and how he looked at certain things. And there were parts of his stories that really resonated with me. It's just very interesting how someone who could struggle through so much could remain so positive. And one of the most interesting parts to me about Ryan's story is that even though coming from, now, would me saying extreme poverty be too much?
I wouldn't say, no, it wasn't, it was poverty, but it wasn't that bad that we didn't have a place to sleep.
Stay,
yeah.
right. So, but from coming from a place where you didn't have much,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to get through without resorting to a lot of the things that you see, you know, kids, even adults resorting to crime, you know, dishonesty, falling into drug life, and so forth. So tell me a bit about how it was growing up for you.
Well, the truth is, growing up was it was tough, but yet it was still a happy family. It was my 5 cousins, my aunt, and my mom. My mom used to work a lot. My mom actually she actually is my everything, and my mom actually, she worked her butt off. She actually was the first female bartender in the Caribbean, where people were telling her, "Oh, you can't be a bartender. You only could be a maid or a waitress." So my mom proved them wrong. She went to Bermuda and she trained and came back and started doing her own drinks and creating her own stuff. You know, so that motivation from that point really kept me going, seeing that even though we were struggling and I was living with my aunt, and my aunt had to take care of us and along with her 5 kids, that kept me going. And yet the family was so happy. We still were playing every day. We go to school every day. Yes, we had no electricity. We had no running water. As I mentioned to you before, we actually go across the street. I used to stand on a step, I would look through the window, and I used to watch Sesame Street through that window, or I would sit by the doorway and I used to watch television, you know, and then I would go home.
Tell them about the Incredible
I
Hulk
know.
thing.
When I got here, the story is when I got here, it actually started when we got our first color television. It was called a Gold Star. I will never forget it. You just turn this knob, tick, 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 tick. That's all it was, you know, just one channel. And that was our first black and white television. I was happy. I thought I saw everything. So when I got to Montreal, when I was around 10, got to Montreal, I actually saw Incredible Hulk for the first time on color television, and he was green. And I yelled to my dad, and I said to my dad that something is wrong with his television.
Because he's green.
Incredible Hulk is black. He's not green. Why is he green? Is he sick? You know, and then, so he's telling me, no, it's like color television is actually green. And then the most amazing thing was Big Bird. When I saw Big Bird was yellow, that did it. Because I you know, these are things that you never see as a kid growing up. So for you to experience this, for me, it was like a gift. Because from nothing and seeing that one little, just see those colors was a gift for me. And then it made me appreciate things more. I'm not saying that my life was easy. It was very difficult, but growing up in Barbados, for me, it was the best time of my life, because it was always about family. Right? You know, it's always about family and love.
And something that you said, you know, now for most of us that grew up here in Canada, and I say most because there are a lot of people here that live in poverty.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But for me, hearing we didn't have running water and we didn't have electricity, and I'm like, whoa, that's extreme poverty. He's like, no, we were good though. We were fine. We went to school, played, and I watched TV through the neighbor's window, and
he allowed
I
us
was
to do it.
entertained.
You know? Yeah.
And I think it's also perspective.
Yeah.
And another thing, in the brief time that Ryan's been speaking, what you hear is gratitude, constant gratitude for all of the little things, all the little additions that were added to his life. So this mindset, and also coming from somebody who blazed trails herself, because after being told that she could only be in a certain place and do a certain thing, she was like, no, I could do this, and she did it. So that's it. Seemed it was already in your DNA.
Yeah, my mom is a go-getter. My mom sees something, she wants it. My mom is gonna get it. You know, I lack for nothing when it comes to my mom, and the main thing my mom always gave me was, you know, is love. Always, no matter if I did wrong, you know, she would talk to me, yell at me, but it was always love at the end of it. It was never no despair, or it was never any like hatred words. You know, it was always, even if she was yelling, it was yelling positivity in terms of, you know how it is. They would tell you, a parent, you would say certain things to your kid. You're not being mean to them. You're just educating them in a harsh way. You know, so then you learn from that, and you see that your mom worked so hard to do certain things. So why am I going to go and put myself in trouble to go in jail to give her grief and heartache? You know, I see what other mothers go through. They go say, oh, my son is a good boy, and then the next thing he get arrested for like 2 counts of murder, you know, and things like that, you know. So I never wanted to put my mom into that position at all.
So what age were you when you came to Montreal, or got to Montreal? I should say?
I came here in 1988. I was around 14. I don't know,
14 years old.
Yeah.
And so was it a big culture shock for you?
Well, I came before visiting when I came to visit my dad, so I actually liked it. But moving, it was a shocker for me because when I actually went to school, there were only 3 black kids in the whole school, and my stepsister was one of them, and it was very, very racist at that school. But I had to deal with it, stuff like that. At that point in time, I actually considered myself to be ugly, because you're seeing is one race, which is all the white people, and you see 3 black people. One is from Africa, and one is from Canada, one from the island. So for me, I'm looking at how everyone has blonde hair, brunette hair, curly hair, and then I have this ragged hair, and I'm like, why does everyone look so different? Yes, we're a tourist island, but yet you don't see that much white in one place. And then in school, then there's the pressure because you have to go to school with skinheads, you have to go to school with Italians, you have to go to school with the Greeks, and everyone is separating each other. So you have these 3 black people that's sitting by themselves because everyone else is in their group. So it was hard to make friends then. So it was very hard for me to make friends. Then I didn't know how to dress, what style to be, because my style was not their style, so they used to insult the way how I used to dress.
Yeah, I remember some kids coming, joining our school in high school, and they were from the Caribbean, and like you said, there was a different style of dress, and I've always kind of been of a different mind, so I didn't understand why people tease people that were different. I never really got that, but I saw it. I did see that. And so, one of the things that you had mentioned was that you never turned to crime, and you just stated one of the reasons why. It's because you definitely wanted to spare your mother the grief of it. I'm sure you also didn't want to get in trouble, but was that something that was presented to you a lot? Was that really like one of your options, or did you feel pressured?
Oh, you were always pressured. Every day you're pressured. Every day in Barbados you were pressured because you live in a ghetto where everything is drugs and every minute is just police. And
wait, before 14? Because when you were in Barbados, you were young.
Yeah, it's still a ghetto.
And
in the ghetto, yeah. I used to live in a place. I used to live with my mom, but when my mom left, I was living with my aunt. We were living in a place called the Ivy, and that place was, at that time, it was not good. Everyone. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like at least 10 or 20 people that I know personally actually went to jail more than once. Probably like 10 years, 15 years for crimes and stuff like that, drugs, weapons, all different type of things. So I had to.
But you were a kid.
Yeah, I had to fight my way around that. So every day you said, that's why I said where family comes in. So we're my 5 cousins and my aunt and my mom, that's where all that love. We didn't need any streets, because from there, you come home from school, you had responsibilities. You had stuff to do. You have school the next day. You don't have not many clothes. You have to wash your own stuff because you have school the next day. You have to make sure they're dry for the next day. You don't have no electricity, so you have to make sure things are prepared for you. So you didn't just come home and just go like the kids today. They come home, they have no imagination. They play video games. That's it. We had to invent our own
games and play. Yeah, we definitely did as well. What I also too find very interesting about this is that it's almost two different stories. She may have had the running water and the electricity, but the strength, put it that way, of the family wasn't there. Whereas you didn't.
The family strength was there. It was just there were certain situations that it was hard for us to even overcome it. And I still believe that even though we did now as adults, and because I have 2 sisters, so us being as close as we are now, we've overcome so many things at this point, you know what I mean? But like just back then, I'm glad that I had them because that was the strength I needed.
That was
if I didn't have them at that time, I don't know where I would have been.
So family's the underlying current here and the underlying strength.
Maybe not all family.
Yes, not all blood is good blood. That is definitely one of the themes. So when we come back, we're going to talk a bit about the youth that come to you, what they're lacking, what's missing, and I always look for solutions because I think that it's important not to just bring up problems, but come to the table with solutions and suggestions. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back soon.
Welcome to Shadowado.
Welcome back to this edition of What Matters, and I am here with Ryan Greenwich and Christina Rogic. I don't know why I have problems pronouncing them on the spot. I think that's the part where I'm nervous. I think that's it. And they're two of the members of Lock and Key Entertainment who service artists and athletes from all areas.
Everything.
Everything.
Yes,
And, you know, as I said, the theme is never give up, because not everybody comes from an easy place. Not everybody, you know, has the red carpet laid out. They're not, you know, given a scholarship to Juilliard and get to practice their art. Oftentimes, as she said, music is life. It's the soundtrack of the world, and it is a lot of people's therapies. But it's interesting how people find their way to this through so much hurt and pain and difficulties.
That's usually where it stems.
That's usually where it spends. I mean, some of our favorite artists, they say as soon as they get a good relationship, the music goes to hell, right? So it's very interesting. Yeah, but
We're stealing your quotes. Just letting you know that.
you're gonna. It's okay. It's all on tape. You can steal them, and I just need a little bit of credit. Something we were speaking about before, Christina and Ryan and I, were the kids, the kids, the young people who come to them looking for direction, looking for guidance. Now, I will let Christina speak for herself, but one of the things she mentioned is that, you know, they're lost. And not just, oh, what do I do with my beats, or how do I get to dance academy, but they just don't know what they want to do. They don't know where they want to go. And I'd asked Christina earlier, what's the difference you find in the industry from when you started and from now? And she gave a wonderful one-word summary, and that was respect. And respect on all levels of everything. Themselves, the art, the world, everything. And I think that's an underlying theme in the brokenness of our youth. Yeah. And that lack of respect of self. So, Christina, talk to us a bit about who comes to you, you know, obviously anonymously, some examples of the kids that you've helped get through and find their way. And, you know, as I said, I don't like bringing up problems without bringing solutions. And obviously you found solutions with Lock and Key. So tell us a bit about the youth that seek you and seek your services.
So, okay, a perfect example is...
Don't use me, please.
No, okay. No. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So there was this one kid that did come up to me, and the only thing that mattered to him was being a celebrity. It didn't matter what he had to do to get there. Acting, dancing, singing, it didn't matter. It absolutely didn't matter. And it blew my mind away of how sad it's come to that. You understand what I mean? How do you not know what you want to do or what your passion is?
You just want to be famous.
You just want to be famous.
And I think this is where we get these people that embarrass themselves on the internet from, and they just, you know, the girls that show up on those talk shows saying the most ridiculous things because it gives them insta-fame.
I don't, it boggles my mind. It really does. Because like, if you're trying to be a celebrity, you really got to know you're a role model. It's not it's everybody. Like somebody that's going to be sad one day, doesn't matter what age. It could be a kid, it could be an adult, it doesn't matter. They're going to feel sad one day, they're going to go on TV, they're going to open the TV and they're going to see some woman or some man talking about how you're supposed to be, and it's like it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. So what happens to that sad person that's watching that is they're gonna, they're just gonna get worse.
Look at my favorite artist.
That's
and he's
right.
Like, so oh, yeah.
That's right. So then it builds up from there, and that's it. And then now I'm sure with statistics I can't say, but I'm sure there's more depression now than there was before. Let's just take it back to the 90s. From the 90s till now, I'm sure there's a huge difference, and I believe it's because of what everybody is thinking that they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Instead of who they should be and why they're here. You understand what I mean? So it's like it doesn't matter with. And it was just that kid that kid broke my heart. And I told him, you really need to figure out what you like. Just figure out what you like, even if it is video games, right? Like that is a form of entertainment for me. But even if it's that, if the kid really likes that video game, then all right, maybe you'll figure out how to make one instead.
Yeah, you could flesh out that passion.
Absolutely.
But the lack of a
Information
choice of vehicle.
and,
You don't even know how you want to get there. You going by plane? You going by train? You walking? No, I just want to be there. And I don't care why I'm there. I just want to be there.
Oh, I get there, yeah.
So that, and something you said, Christina, about the depression, I don't have the stats, but I do know that from what I've read, what I've seen, that, we have kids that are depressed younger.
Absolutely.
Younger children committing suicide.
Yeah.
I remember being 9. I honestly don't think I knew what suicide really was. Like,
yeah, same here.
Right?
Same here.
I'm really trying, because I read a lot, but I'm thinking about it, and I don't think that was something that was really in my life. I don't recall anyone in my age group,
Me neither.
not wanting to be there. I mean, yeah,
Me neither,
your mom's yelling
honestly.
at you, you don't want to be there, but not like that.
No.
And this false reality as well that's presented to us, this filter life, everything's filtered, everything's perfect, everybody's in body
That's right.
shapers
Too
and
sensitive.
contoured.
That's right.
You wake up and you don't look like that. But what the youth are lacking is not enough people are telling them no one looks like that. Even she doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
That's the series of Photoshop and professional
Absolutely.
photographers and makeup
Absolutely.
artists and so forth. So
That's the thing. Anybody can look like that.
right, exactly.
Anybody. So if you didn't know, anybody can look like that. So never feel a certain way. Like if you look in the mirror and you're feeling, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're beautiful regardless. Don't look at those magazines.
I actually
don't look at
stopped.
those
I
movies.
remember being about 13 and I used to get magazines from our school library. And then
Yeah.
one day I was going through and I realized, I said, I always feel horrible when I'm finished this magazine.
Right.
I realized at such a young
Right.
age that
You're right.
every time I looked through a magazine at
Wow.
the end, I felt envious.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't have enough. I had a whole bunch of new desires that I didn't even know existed before.
Imagine.
So at a very young age, I stopped looking in fashion
Good.
magazines because, and also too, back then there were very few people who looked anything like me in any of them. So it was just constantly images coming back to me saying, you're not right, and you're too short, and you're too round. And it's
Absolutely.
also interesting that, a little side note, features that I was made fun of for when I was little, they became in style.
It's true.
But what human beings and young women and young men don't understand
it.
is humans can't go in and out of style. Like, that's ridiculous.
That's it.
Big lips are in. So what, all the thin lip people should just kill themselves? Like, what do you, that's it. What do you do? Okay, like, I remember when I was growing up, I was called Bubble Butt and teased horribly. And now I look at the videos and I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Like, it's just amazing to me how the fashion of humanity changes.
Yeah.
So with this it was a young boy.
Young
right,
boy.
that came to you, were you able to help him?
I did.
You did.
I did. I figured it out. I figured out what he wanted. It was video games in the end. It was his passion. And I knew it, but I wanted him to figure it out.
Right.
You understand what I mean? I don't want to.
Wait for him.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
And that goes for any one of my clients. You tell me what you like or where you're trying to go, and I'll guide you there. You know what I mean? I'm not going to change anything. And that was I had another client that was a rapper, and he raps about God. You know what I mean? And he felt a certain way because of that. And I didn't even know that. Like, I had no idea he felt, oh my God, is she going to judge me? Or
Really?
Are the people going to say mean things? Like, this is another kid that was just worried about that. And recently, and it was funny, about a week ago, he told me, thank you for never judging me for that. And I was like, why would I? And then he was like I did it. It confused me.
Because
Like,
being good isn't cool.
I guess.
But not but the thing is about that, a lot of the kids, when that put a lot of pressure on them as well too, because they are being judged even before they actually got a chance to show their talent. So you don't want to show your talent anymore because you're being judged already.
Yeah.
You know, you're not even making any money, but yet you're and the thing that's the worst thing, and your friends and the family are the ones that really pull these artists back. You can't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Find a real job.
Somebody
Stuff
that
like
they
that,
look
and,
up
you know.
to.
So from there, they get depressed and they go, you know what? I don't think I should do it because of my family. So what she's saying is right. She helped me, so I can vouch for that.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a place in my life where I didn't even know. I didn't want to do this no more. I was done. I was finished. I was like, I'm done. She's like, no, you're not done. I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm finished.
I wasn't
I
gonna
had
allow
enough
it.
because it was not fun anymore. DJing used to be fun. Entertainment used to be fun. It's not fun anymore. You have your friends, the promoters, they promote parties and have a free party just to mess up your party, just to give your party a bad name.
Wow.
Things like that. It's not come together, want to work with you. That's how the entertainment industry became.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's
in
tough,
other
man.
words, so what's the solution? You do your own.
Oh,
You know?
there we go again. So in the last segment, when we come back from this last commercial break, we're going to talk a bit about the solutions, which we already have, and that's helping people find their own passion and not belittling it. But we'll touch on a few more of the solutions and the ways we can help our youth, and not even just youth, right? Don't worry, everybody over like 25. I'm not throwing you in the garbage.
Never.
No, there's ways to help us all. And also, too, we will, in our comments, we have contact information, how to get a hold of them, but they'll tell you a little bit more about that. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back, and we are here with What Matters and my guests Ryan Greenwich and Christina Rojic, and they are two of the members of Lock and Key Entertainment that I actually am going to get them to give me a small summary because they do everything. They help guide young artists, athletes, people with passions on their path.
Absolutely.
And coming from, places where it wasn't easy and they had their struggles, be it financial, emotional, family, structure, outside, inside, they found their way. And both of you found your way without having to resort to crime or, a less positive life that you to say you came back from. You were able to stay on a pretty clear path. And now, as I said earlier, oftentimes I know I strive to be the person I wish I had. When I was young, I felt very lost in a lot of things. And I often wish I had somebody there to say, Erica, you're good at this, this, and that. You should try this. Someone who could look at me from the outside and help guide me. And through that, that's what I try to do. I try to help people who may feel lost or help people who really are on the path and they don't realize it. Just kind of clearing the dust from their eyes and saying, look at all that you're doing, look at all that you and bringing them to their path and kind of trying to help them skip all the
don't make the mistakes that we almost made or the ones that we made. You know,
Yeah.
that's basically what we were trying to do. It's not only the young folks. Trust me, there's a lot of older people in the 30s and stuff who has not even, they don't have a structure yet in what they want to do with their entertainment, and they're talented, but yet they do not know. And as I said, for me personally, with Christine, and she has this way about her that she can speak to you and make you understand what you're worth, right? And that is one thing I respect about her. We butt heads all the time. We argue almost every day, but we argue about getting the project move forward the right way.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, if we argue and curse each other out, by the end of the day, it's done. That's over. The next day, we move on to another project.
Right.
You know, we don't carry that grudge
Never.
on to the next day. There's no hurt feelings. There's no disrespect in terms of like, oh, don't talk to me anymore. It's never that. We always stay focused and true to the game because we've been through all of these struggles, and we know we're gonna clash heads because we both want what's good for the company. So we're gonna clash heads in what we think is good for the company. But at the end of the day, nothing gets done unless we both agree this is what is best for the company and the artist.
And the artist.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, it's a
for
team
you,
effort.
Ryan, what would you say are some of the most helpful things that you're able to do to help youth, and not just youth, as I said, I'm not trying to throw older people under the bus. What systems do you put in place? How do you help them realize anything, and then realize their dreams?
Well, first of all, most of the kids and stuff that I talk to, they don't have, as she said, they have no idea what they want to do. So what I do, I try to explain to them how I used to live, how lucky you are compared to how I was.
Right.
So like people compare certain things to be the ghetto, but yet they still have PlayStations, they still have, they wear Air Jordans, and they still have Netflix. And the ghetto, you can walk on the street with shoes.
Right. I had a friend come from New York many years ago to Montreal, and we were driving through LaSalle by Des Oblats.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, this is the ghetto. And she's like, you sure?
It's not a ghetto.
She's like, do
not a
you
ghetto.
know what a ghetto looks like? Because she said, I see grass here. I see lawns.
Exactly.
I see lots of, like, it's, again, just different definitions.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I tell people, don't, maybe you say you're from the hood, but don't say you're from the ghetto. They're two different entities right there. You know, so don't tell me, oh, I'm from the ghetto, and then you're going to come outside in your Jordan suit.
Your press clothes
I'm
that
like,
your
dude,
mom
you're
pressed for
wearing
you.
$500 on you. How you could be from the ghetto? It's like,
With your sharp collar.
Exactly.
And
Like-
exactly, like even for, well, you're from Montreal too. I remember growing up and people, saying, because there was a huge influx of Caribbeans into Montreal in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And then growing up in the 90s and people saying things like, yeah, I'm from the hood. And I'm like, what hood? And they were like, Côte-des-Neiges. I'm like, Côte-des-Neiges isn't the hood. Like, what are you talking? Actually, you guys are actively trying to turn it into a hood. But we live in nice places. Like, why try to dump it down?
Can I give you a definition in terms of but I give them definition in terms of how I grew up. And then when I tell them, they're like, oh, wow, I never had it that bad. I'll give you a good example, a couple examples. In a situation, iron our clothes, we had the old school irons where we had to put it on an oil stove to get it hot. Take a rag, grab that iron, is like almost 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And you have to iron your clothes. And when it's cooled, you have to put it back on the stove. At the end of the day, you have to clean that, because if you don't clean it, you have to wash to do your whites. The rust goes on your whites. A lot of people don't know that. I had to go to the washroom outside. There's no indoor. You have to shower, not a shower, you have to take a bath outside. And you go to school and your friends have these luxury of showering in cold water. Yeah, but we're bathing in water, but we're not bathing in a nice shower inside of a bath. We're actually
Constant
outside.
stream coming
So
down.
you have to be
right?
outside taking a bath in like 6, 7 in the morning to go to school.
Right.
Outside, which is hard. Then you have to get a buckets of water every day to bring inside, so you have water to drink, water to cook with, water to wash your hands.
Right.
So it was.
So through contrast, one
Yeah.
of the ways that you help them realize anything is through contrast.
It's contrast, exactly.
Showing them that, there are many different ways people live, and if you back up a little bit and you look at your life objectively, you'll see that you really don't live that hard
Yeah.
with your nice sharp collar
Yeah.
and your PlayStation and your Jordans that your mother saved up for.
Yeah, in my opinion, you should never be struggling if you're wearing a $500 suit.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's a whole other conversation, and we will have shows on economics and where we put our money as people. But I absolutely agree with them. So one of the ways, Ryan, that you help guide the people, the kids, the adults that come to Lock and Key is by sharing your story.
And I'm very stern, very strict with it. I don't sugarcoat it because my mom always told me the same thing. You sugarcoat things, it's only going to cause problems. You nip it in the bud in the early. You nip that problem in the early, then you won't have that problem when it gets a couple of weeks later or months later. But if you sugarcoat stuff, you don't let people know what it really is and what you're really doing is wrong, right? They don't want to accept that. Then you tried your best. You know, you move on. All you can do is try. You can't. Is it what's the saying? You can take a donkey to the well, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah, well,
drink
you
the
can
water
take
or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can take a horse to the water,
but you can't make him drink it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's basically the same thing. You know, you can't force anyone to do something.
I like the fact he used donkey.
Yeah,
know, that's
donkey.
what I was like.
I think it's donkey. I think my mom I used to hear that. Sign. Yeah.
So sharing your experiences,
Yeah.
showing that contrast,
Yeah.
and being, you say stern, being straightforward.
Being
not,
very straightforward.
You know,
Not disrespectful.
fluffing-
Yeah.
Not fluffing
Yeah.
things up to, oh, it's just all going to being, straightforward. Now, so with that, do you find that you kind of turn into what's the word I want to use? A mentor kind of figure?
No, I don't want to consider myself as a mentor. I want to consider myself as more of, what's the right word? A person to give you positive information. You know, I don't want you to just depend on my word. I want you to go out there, listen to what I'm saying, and you go and seek for yourself. Use, as she said, educate yourself, get that knowledge. You understand? And then from there, you use your judgment to decide what it is you want to do. And whatever you decide to do, well, we can't say anything because that's your choice. We give you options, and God gave us free will, so you know what it is you want to do, right or wrong.
So you give them the knowledge,
yeah.
and then
The path is theirs.
The path
is
is yours, and I
Yeah.
think that's really important because a lot of especially our youth, they feel they have to do something a certain way
Right.
or no way at all.
Yeah.
And I think
You need structure,
Right.
right? Like that. You need structure, even as a youth. You need structure.
100%.
Absolutely.
I
But
hope
just
you're
don't
listening.
Forget yourself. You know what I mean? Like if I sat here and listened to what I was supposed to do, let's just say for school, I wouldn't be in the position I am in today. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't trade this for the world. You get what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, why? Like why just allow somebody else to decide for you?
Yeah.
Like it just logically,
Be a leader, never a
Yeah.
follower.
Yeah.
logically it doesn't make sense.
But in order for some to lead, they do need some leadership.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
like you
that's
said,
it.
Exactly.
yeah, they do need some leadership, and as you said, there's so many different ways now in this world to do things. Becoming a nurse or a school teacher, or those are no longer the only options, and actually for a lot of
Correct.
people, they're not the best options. So it's I agree. One is having leaders do need someone to
Yeah.
teach them
Absolutely.
to lead.
Yeah.
Giving them that opportunity to find themselves, giving them a structure in which to figure out what they want
to
to
do.
Right.
Exactly.
Organized.
organizing them,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
giving them the information straight up, no chaser,
But confidence.
and
Yeah, a confidence builder. You got to make them feel that they can
Confidence
actually
is
do
so important.
I think the confidence and the respect are definitely
Yeah.
tied
Yeah.
in.
Loyalty is one of
So
them
before
too.
Anisha starts waving at me from behind the computer, we have once again run out of time. I thank you so much.
Nothing but an honor.
I
for
think this show
coming.
is too short. Don't you
I,
think so?
I've
Yeah.
been telling.
I think
are
you
y'all
guys got to do
listening?
more about this. This is
Well,
this kind of be an hour already. I think
It
something
is.
is wrong.
I'm
now.
telling, and I love when the guests say that. That means that we've
Something's
done a
wrong.
good job.
Yeah.
So, all their information, their contact information, is under our link. I will, if you're watching this, share it. If you find it of value, please share it out. We will be posting all our repost links. And Lock and Key Entertainment. What's your website name?
www.lockandkeyent.com.
All right, and on your social media platforms,
Oh
we'll
my
find you
goodness.
where?
Oh,
It's always
just
Lock and Key.
Lock
It's
and
always
Key
Lock and Key.
Entertainment.
So on Twitter, on Facebook, that's how you'll
Everything.
find them.
Everything.
Instagram, everything. Yeah.
Awesome. So I am your host, Erica Lita. I am back next week with Lamois. And when you saw the face I made, you're going to know why. So I will see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great one. Thanks for joining us.